What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, we just watched two phenomenal women's basketball games. We watched Oregon State defeat Notre Dame, and we watched South Carolina beat Indiana. And guys, if y'all are not entertained, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Like these were like two really awesome games that sort of went to the wire, and this is what March Madness is all about. This is what the Sweet 16 is all about. So we are going to recap each of the games and just talk about what happened and make our predictions of what we think is going to continue to happen for the rest of the Sweet 16. We're also going to talk about some referee drama as well, and related to Hannah Hidalgo. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. But first, let's go over what actually happened. So, as I said earlier, Oregon State did defeat Notre Dame. Guys, Oregon State beat Notre Dame 70-65. Now, this game was very close throughout. Like I expected Notre Dame to get the dub in this game, and they had momentum, but Hannah had to sit on the bench for a long while in the second quarter. Why? Because she had a nose ring in. And if y'all haven't watched Notre Dame play this season, you know that Hannah has a nose ring in every single game. I don't think I've seen her play a game without a nose ring. I believe sometimes it's tape on it, sometimes it's not. But the refs decided, hey, you got to get out the game. You have to get out the game until you fix that nose ring, until you get that nose ring out of your nose. And I felt like that sort of cooled, that severely cooled Hannah down, and she just didn't look great after that. She didn't look great after that at all. And that was in my opinion, that was a huge factor. That was a huge factor in the result of this game. That Hannah just didn't play that great after that. Yeah. So yeah, that's the news about Notre Dame. But y'all, let's get into Oregon State, because Oregon State is the team that won. And yes, when we talk about Oregon State, we usually talk about one player, Reagan Beers, right? Reagan Beers, talented post player, can basically do whatever she wants on the court, and she can get the job done. But today, the savior of Oregon State was not Reagan Beers. No. I mean, she did play well. She had a double-double in this game. She played well. But the savior of this game, her name is Tamia Gardner. Now, this girl, she played out of her mind. She usually averages like 11 points a game. So usually, okay, she does some stuff, but not like, the most impactful player. But y'all, she came with some 3-pointers, and she found a way to get her shot and make her shots. It was like when Oregon State needed a timely bucket, it was Gardner who was showing up and showing out on the court. She finished this game with 21 points. She had a double-double also. She had 11 rebounds. And guys, that the secret sauce for Oregon State, the reason why Oregon State won this game, is because they have other players that can step up when they need to. And when we talk about teams making it far, that's what you need. Absolutely, you have a player like a star player, right, in Beers. But you need other players showing up and showing out, like Gardner, like Hunter, like Olhoffen. These players, like Oregon State is not where they're at for no reason. I know like a lot of people kind of slept on them because, didn't really watch the games on TV. Their games weren't really on TV like that. And they're just not as like flashy of sorts as, some of the other teams in the SEC or the ACC or the Big Ten. But guys, Oregon State, those Beavers, they are legit. They are absolutely legit. And this team, they didn't even shoot from three. They didn't shoot as much from the three as I was expecting. Like, yeah, they were pretty efficient from the three, shot 42% from the three, but they only shot 14 3-pointers in this game, and I was expecting them to do way more 3-pointers than that, but they didn't need to. They got the ball in the paint. They got some like very, very close shots up and in the basket, and that's what won. That's what won this game. When we talk about, okay, well, who can make it far, right? Who can make it far? Oregon State looked good. Now Oregon State do win this game again. For Notre Dame, Hannah didn't have the best game. She struggled, especially in that second half, severely. I believe her first points in that second half was like late in the fourth quarter. But Maddie Westbell did do her thing for the team. And Sonia Citron did as well. But the team struggled, and they couldn't get the job done. They could not get the job done. And we see Oregon State move on to the next round. Now, if you're wondering, who's Oregon State going to play? Who are they playing in the next round? Well, they are going to play South Carolina. So, South Carolina played today as well, and they defeated Indiana. Now, guys, I want y'all to keep the same energy. There were people in the chat yesterday who said that South Carolina was going to wipe the floor with Indiana. And what happened? They didn't wipe the floor. South Carolina almost got today. South Carolina almost got today. And the reason why they didn't is because of Raven Johnson. Like that's the reason why they didn't. When we talk about this South Carolina game, absolutely, Camila Cardoso played, and she played phenomenally. Anytime she got the ball, she kind of could do whatever she wanted to do on the court. There was nobody for Indiana that could stop her, which was what we expected, right? We expected Camila Cardoso to do her thing in this game, and she did. But South Carolina, it seemed like they started to go away from Camila. Instead of giving Camila the ball, the guard started trying to shoot in the fourth quarter, missing shots, and there was a possession where almost does not count. Yeah, you're right. Frieda's kitchen. You are right. Almost doesn't count. But guys, I thought this was a phenomenal game by Indiana. So Indiana, they were down bad. They were down very, very bad in this game. At one point, they were losing by over 20 points in this game. More specifically, they were down by 22 points. South Carolina came out early in this game, 3 after 3 after 3. And I was like, "Ooh, I think we about to see I think we about to see South Carolina dominate in this game." And they did early on. They played very well early on. And then Indiana was like, "Actually, no. We know that you have a phenomenal post player, but we are going to trade your 2s for 3s." And that's what happened. That is absolutely what happened in this game. Indiana, they needed to shoot threes. The key to this game, the key for Indiana to have a chance was to neutralize the guards of South Carolina and to hit threes. And they hit threes. They hit them. They hit 13 threes in this game. And South Carolina hit 8. Yes, Indiana wasn't as efficient from the three-point land, but they had volume. They had volume in those three-point shots, and they just kept trying, running off of tons of screens. Like, guys, I wish there was some way for us to measure how many miles the guards of Indiana had today, because it was screen after screen after screen after screen after screen. It was, and then they would get off the screen, like run off the screen, shoot a three, hit it, and I was just like, man, like, it's amazing going full speed off these screens. All of a sudden, stop, boom, bam, make the shot. Now I tell you that this Indiana squad, yes, they lost this game. Yes, absolutely. And South Carolina came up when they needed to. More specifically, Raven Johnson hit that 3-point bucket in the fourth quarter to really seal the game for the team. And like, even though South Carolina won, and absolutely we're gonna talk a lot more about South Carolina in just a sec. I do just want to give Indiana their flowers. I thought they played a remarkable game. I do. Yes, they lost, but they played a remarkable game, and they should leave this game with their head held high, because when we talk about South Carolina, they're a team that demolished the other two teams they played to even get to this point, right? So we look at who this team has played, right? They destroyed North Carolina in the second round. They destroyed Presbyterian in the first round. And it was like the pressure wasn't on Indiana. Not really, because everybody expected Indiana to get destroyed. Not everybody, but there were a lot of people expecting Indiana to get destroyed. And it was about, hey, everybody thinks you're going to lose. Everybody thinks you're going to lose. So let's show up, let's play free, and we're going to see what it do. We are going to see what it does. And this was a phenomenal game. Like, I loved every second of this game. The drama of like seeing a possible blowout to a, whoa, here's a comeback, to, oh my goodness, is Indiana going to win? To, oh my goodness, Raven Johnson with the closer three, to the game is over. That was kind of like my emotions watching this game. But guys, ultimately, South Carolina does it again. Yes, it was a close one, absolutely, but they still find a way to win the game. And when the game is on the line, who do they give it to? Camila Cardoso. But I will say this one thing. There was a long period where I felt like South Carolina was just playing bad basketball. Basically from the beginning of the fourth quarter. South Carolina was not really playing well at all. You start off with Samaya Fagan getting a turnover. Then the guards started missing shots. Bree Hall missed a shot. Tessa Johnson missed a shot. Turnover again by South Carolina. And it felt like Dawn was allowing this team to play. She was allowing them to try to work out some stuff, But then she was like, okay, all right, timeout. Give the ball to Camilla. and then And then we were able to see Camilla get the ball and start to do her thing that she was doing all game. Now I would say that a lot of coaches probably would have called a timeout way sooner. But I like the way that Dawn was like, okay, well we gonna rock out. We gonna let y'all try to figure it out. And when I think y'all have got it too close, I'm gonna call a timeout and we gonna regroup. Like I thought like, I don't know. To me that's just another sign of like phenomenal coaching. Like, absolutely, yeah, sure, you could immediately call a timeout, but it's even better to allow this team to try to work it out themselves, and then once you realize that, yeah, they can't, then call a timeout, and then try to work up a play that could work. So yeah, I don't know. Those are kind of my thoughts about this game. Now I do want to see y'all comments. I do want to see what y'all have to say about this game. Bad Guy Rob says close games are a motivation. Absolutely. Close games are phenomenal. Like I am personally a huge fan of close games. When we talk about the NCAA tournament, we want close games. We do. And that was fun. Grace by God says the block near the end by Watkins was awesome. Yeah, it was. So guys, if you don't know, there was like, I don't know, less than 15 seconds left, and Indiana was down. They were down by like 4 points, I think, at that moment, and they needed to get a 3, and get the ball in bounce. Garzone gets the ball, and she tries to quickly get up a 3-point shot. And who was right there? And she wasn't even right there. Like that was actually a pretty good distance that Ashton Watkins had to close to get that block, but Ashton Watkins blocks the shot. Like, man, I was like, oh, maybe there's an opportunity, but Swatkins comes once again and gets a block. Like I thought that was that was a huge momentum getter as well. Like that, yeah. I was like, yep, it's over for Indiana after that. But ultimately, I thought that this was a great game. I thought that this was a very good game. But I will say, for all the people who said that this was going to be a blowout, I'm just saying, keep the same energy. I don't think that any of these games are going to be a blowout from here on out. They're not. Because this is the best of the best. These teams are putting it all out there, putting it all on the line. It is win or go home. So you're not going to see the blowouts that we saw in the first round and the second round. We're going to see close games. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a strategic battle, It's going to be a battle of who can knock down 3-pointers. It's going to be a battle of who can get more defensive rebounds. Like that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. So guys, like I know there's a lot of Gamecocks fans, and I appreciate y'all rocking, but at the same time, like don't think your team is going to destroy everybody. Because other teams play well too. And yes, your team still likely is going to win the whole thing. I still do believe that South Carolina is going to win the tournament. But it's going to be some close games. It's going to be some nail biters that y'all are going to have to contend with. It is going to be some nail biters. Because you can absolutely get a big lead. Absolutely. And they did. They had a 22-point lead. And then it dwindled down to 2 points. That's the ball game. That is what happens. That is March Madness, guys. So I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. I think it's it's important to respect the competition. Just because you may not know about this other team, don't mean that that other team doesn't have some ballers, because they do. They likely do. Especially if they made it this far. Rosalind says, "Yep, the best of the best." Yeah, this is the best of the best, and it's fun to watch. Lashandra says these games keep getting harder and harder. Absolutely. And yes, it's absolutely likely that we will see large runs from teams. We will likely continue to see 15-point runs for a team, in a half or something like that. But we can also expect for that other team to make a comeback and make it a game again, sort of towards the end. Our dog says, "I agree. Games are supposed to be close this late in the tournament." Absolutely. Michaela, yeah, we talked about it a little bit. So for everybody who doesn't know, everybody who did not watch the Notre Dame versus Oregon State game, in the second quarter, Hannah had a nose ring in. She's played with a nose ring this entire year. There has been other players for women's college basketball who have played with a nose ring in the entire year. It's not a big one. I would say it's a relatively small nose ring, but they play with it the whole year. Like, you see some players who put a Band-Aid on it. I've seen some players, they don't have a Band-Aid on it. So I think we've seen Hannah wear a Band-Aid and also not wear a Band-Aid. And for the second quarter, the refs told her that you have to take out the nose ring. And this is something that she was pretty upset about because supposedly she asked before the game, and yeah. So actually, let me. I want to make sure I'm giving y'all the facts on this. So I'm gonna pull up an article about it. All right, so guys, I do want to reference a athletic article. I do want to reference an athletic article because they did write an article about Hannah and her nose ring. Well, you know that sound. ESPN's dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. So guys, Stanford and NC State, that game has just started. So we're gonna move to that game in just a sec. But I do want to reference specifically the article that came out about this nose ring incident and what Hannah is saying. All right, sorry guys. I am pulling up that right now. All right, so Hannah was forced to remove her nose ring. So this ESPN article says that the decision came as a surprise to Hidalgo coach Neil Ivey and those on the Notre Dame bench. Hannah has played with a nose ring the entire season, including the first 2 NCAA tournament games last weekend. In a post-game interview, Hannah said that one official initially told her that she could wear the nose ring as long as she covered it up. But at the end of the first quarter, she was told that the nose ring had to be removed or she couldn't play in the game. So, of course, she sat on the bench for about 4 minutes as the trainers tried to take it out. Now, guys, it took them a while to take that nose ring out. And when we were looking at it on TV, and it was like two people, and they was really trying, and I was just like, how long does it take to take a nose ring out? Like I thought, like, okay, I've never had a nose ring. I don't know anybody who has a nose ring, like in person. Like I know people who have a nose ring, but I've never seen them take it out. And I assumed it was going to be like a quick thing, like an earring. Just take it out and go ahead and do your thing. But guys, it took a long time for them to take it out. And Hannah said that the trainers didn't know how to take it out. And her nose was bleeding, and she was given no explanation for why the officials changed course throughout the game. Here is what Hannah said. I thought it was BS because I'm on a run, I'm on a roll. I scored 2 baskets, and having to sit for all that time, I was starting to get cold. I think the officials were worried about the wrong things. They should have ref the game. Now, guys, the reason why they told her to remove the nose ring is because it's NCAA policy. But it's a policy that the NCAA and the officials have not been, they have not honored this policy all season, because there are multiple players in the NCAA that have a nose ring, and they play with the nose ring during the game. And so it was sort of like odd that they, that now is an opportunity for them to for them to enforce something, So yeah, it says what was confusing to Hannah and Coach Neil Ivy was the specific enforcement during the game after she was allowed to wear it all season. Ivy says she was given no explanation in the moment. Instead, after the game, she was handed a printout of the NCAA rule prohibiting jewelry and was told it was a point of emphasis in the Sweet 16. A point of emphasis that the refs did not tell the players about. Usually point of emphasis are put, they usually put something out about the point of emphasis, and they tell the players and the teams that this is a point of emphasis. And also, guys, if y'all hit that like button, that would be phenomenal. We got 200 people in the chat, but we only have 80 likes. If y'all hit that like button, that would be awesome. Also, while I'm at it, huge shout out to the Patreon folks. Shout out to all the Patreon members, people who are financially supporting this channel. I really do appreciate it. If y'all want to, on a recurring basis, financially support this channel, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Quita Loves Sports. All right, let's continue on with this explanation. So yeah, Coach Ivy says she's had a nose ring the entire season. Just wish we would have known beforehand. Can't control it. So yeah, we had to move on. But yeah, stoppage of play is never great when you are trying to have flow, especially when this team only runs 6 players deep. And to have Hannah off the court for that long, that hurt. That really did hurt Notre Dame, and I think that you can't have blunders like this for the NCAA. Absolutely call it. Say, hey, you got to take your nose ring out, but do it during warmups. Do it before the game starts. Do it but before the day starts. If this was a point of emphasis, which supposedly this is a point of emphasis according to this article, if this is a point of emphasis, why wasn't anybody told about it? There was no press releases about it. There was no talk about this being a point of emphasis. And Hannah wears a nose ring. She wears one every single game. So the fact that nobody saw it, nobody was paying attention until the end of the first quarter, I think is wild. I think it is really wild to suddenly enforce this thing. Absolutely. Rules are rules. And players should follow the rules. However, If the rule has been ignored the entire season, why now? Why now in the Sweet 16? Like, I think that logic is completely jacked up. And guys, let's look at the Athletic wrote an article about this as well. Yeah, and Coach Yo posted on Twitter about it. Yeah, Coach Yo says, my players have been playing with nose rings all season. Yes, there is a rule about nose rings, but players have done this all season, and nobody said a word. Nobody said a word until now. You know, absolutely, rules are rules. But if everybody has ignored the rule all season, it is not a rule. If everybody ignored it and no one was ever called for it, it's not a rule. So I thought that was pretty messed up. I thought that was really messed up. That the refs decided to do that. And I feel like that kind of cost Notre Dame the momentum, and it cost Hannah rhythm. Would Oregon State have won regardless? Possibly. But now we never know. Now we don't know. We don't know if and now this is a conversation. Instead of it just being about how phenomenal Oregon State was, and Oregon State was phenomenal in this game, absolutely. The conversation is what's going on. Is the refs rigging it for Oregon State? What's going on? Does sports betting have something to do with the fact that they decided to enforce this rule that nobody follows all season today? You know, like I think this could lead to conspiracy theories. And if the refs and if the NCAA would just decide to be consistent, this isn't an issue. That's always been the rule about jury for the NCAA. That's always been a rule. Players can't wear it, but I mean, you've allowed it all season. You've allowed it. So why now? That's what I say. Why now? When the lights are the brightest it has been all season. Why now? So I think this this isn't a good look. This is not a good look for the NCAA at all. Not a good look, because again, it just leads to conspiracy theories of people like why did you why are you not following why did you choose today to make this known? And guys, I do want to call out one thing. Ice Young, who is a reporter, I believe, and was at the game, said, here's a statement from the NCAA on Hannah's nose piercing removal mid-game that we just received. And so this is the pool reporter statement. So shout out to Ice Young for posting this. It says, question, why was Hannah Hidalgo of Notre Dame required to leave the game at the start of the second quarter to remove jewelry? And it says, from the 2023 and 2024 women's rule book, head decorations, headwear, helmets, and jewelry are illegal. And religious headwear is permitted, provided it is securely fastened to the head and is subject to the approval of the referee. And it also says, it also cites two other things. It says, ruling at the first dead ball, A5 shall be required to remove the jewelry immediately or be required to leave the game and not return until after removing the jewelry. A5 cannot buy the right to wear jewelry by being charged with a technical foul. And another one says, A1 is using a narrow plastic stem to prevent, Oh, so it's saying that if a player had like in because I assume if you take a nose ring out, it'll close up really quickly. So they said that you can put something there to prevent the nose ring from closing, assuming it's not determined as dangerous by the referee. So guys, that's sort of the. I mean that is what the NCAA sent the pool reporters about this. Guys, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. JB says, not one to overly indulge in conspiracy theories, but it's hard to argue against them on this day. Enforcing that rule today and no other time since November was weird. Really, really weird. I agree. I absolutely agree. I'm trying to see what y'all got to say in the comments. Hinokami says sports betting is definitely a factor. S. Cole says I blame sports betting. Bree says, well, apparently one of the refs knew they just switched up. Yeah. I think she does. I think she does have a nose ring. There's a lot of players who have nose rings. Yeah, she wasn't the same. She wasn't the same after that. She was not the same. AF says betting is ruining sports. I completely agree with that. I do. I know some people do it and they enjoy it, but I agree with that. I do. Hinokami says, can't wait for that sports betting scandal across all sports hit the streets. So we'll see. We'll see. Alice says, what do you expect for... Oh, what? Okay. All right. BJ says, I don't have that in my rule book. Oh, man. I mean, Oregon State deserved the win. They absolutely did. But now it's a black eye on the game. It's a black eye on the game. It is a black eye on the game. Because now this is what people are going to be talking about. This is what people are going to be talking about. This is the conversation. And I think all this could have been, this all would have been fine if today they said, okay, for the Sweet 16, yes, our point of emphasis is, nose rings and taking that out. Okay, absolutely, that is fine. You had pregame. You had multiple opportunities to tell the coaches and the players this. You had pregame. You had warm-ups when you saw the players. I mean, the refs are on the court warming up as the players are shooting and stuff. So you had that. You had the captain's meeting that happens at half court to tell the players and coaches that. You had the tip-off where all the players, circle around, and Hannah was there too. All the players circle around ready for tip-off. The refs are there looking at all the players. That was another opportunity. There were several opportunities before this game started to tell somebody that you were actually going to enforce a rule that you have not enforced all season. And I think that that's something to note. And absolutely, Oregon State played their butt off today. Absolutely. They did. And they deserve to be talked about. And we talked about them earlier. We talked about how great Tamia Gardner was in this game, and how she showed up and showed out with a double-double, 21 points to get the win for the Oregon State Beavers, right? We talk about Reagan Beers, who did her thing as well. 18 points, double-double again. We talk about Hunter. Y'all, Donovan Hunter came up big with some big shots, including a big three-pointer. You have Talia von Oelhoffen, who did her thing as well, especially late in the game. Like there were some phenomenal plays by Oregon State, and they absolutely deserves the win. They absolutely do. But at the same time, because the refs decided to enforce something again that they have not enforced all season, it leads people to wonder what was the reason. So I'm just saying, like, I think this was a bad look for the NCAA. Bad look, you know. People are already talking about how there's people already have conspiracy theories about the refs wanting certain teams to win. And you don't help yourself by doing stuff like this. You don't. Jack says Oregon State is legit. They absolutely are. Absolutely are. Oregon State's a phenomenal team. They are. And guys, Oregon State had a ton of turnovers in this game. A ton. An uncharacteristically high amount of turnovers. They had 26 turnovers in this game. And they still got the job done. Still, when the game mattered, players stepped up and made buckets. You know, so Oregon State deserved it. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge the fact that this happened, you know? Oh, thank you so much, Keisha. Thank you so much. Kyra says that part. I guess that was about them deciding to acknowledge this now. Yeah. Edison says no excuse. Oregon State won. Bottom line, they did. They absolutely did. Absolutely, they absolutely did. They showed up and showed out and got the job done. Yeah, AF says they should have just let her cover it up with a bandage. BJ says truth bomb. They should have said something before the game. Absolutely, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. If this, because according to that ESPN article that we just looked at earlier, according to that, it's a point of emphasis. If it's a point of emphasis, why didn't you tell somebody? You know, why doesn't nobody know that this was a point of emphasis? So, you know, I just think it was you know, again, let's revisit the article. Let's revisit the article. It said after the game, Coach Neil Ivey was handed a printout of the NCAA rule prohibiting jury and was then told it was a point of emphasis in the Sweet 16. I'm just, you know, if there's a point of emphasis, why not let somebody know? Again, she had the nose ring in the entire season. Could have taken it out in pregame. Could have taken it out before tip off. You know, and that hurt her. That she was off basically the rest of the game after that. No excuse, because at the end of the day, you still gotta, regardless of what the refs decide to do, you still have to show up. And you know, she had a rough game. And Oregon State won, and Oregon State deserved to win because they were the better team out there. They were the better team. But this does not help to convince people that the NCAA is not rigged. This doesn't help at all. This does not help. Carmela says, I said yesterday in the chat, Oregon State was going to win that game, and South Carolina was going to win this one, but it was going to be close. You called it too entertaining for sure. Yeah, absolutely. This was entertaining. Alan says, gotta go watch North Carolina State. Yeah, we're not gonna stay on much longer. because yeah, we do have North Carolina State to watch. Kyra says that's what you do when you're trying to cover your pettiness. Oh man, Hino Kami says it definitely affected the game for Notre Dame negatively. Yep. Yes, Ayups, yes. That is the point. Yes, the whole point of something being a point of emphasis means that you are going to let people know beforehand, and nobody was told beforehand. So, is it really a point of emphasis? Is it really? Is it really? Michael says, as a ref, it's hard. It's a hard enough job. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot with crap like this. Yeah. Angel better take hers out. Every women's basketball player who is still in the NCAA tournament, all coaches, y'all need to tell y'all players to take those nose rings out because you don't want to end up like Hannah Hidalgo. All right, take your nose rings out, all of y'all. Take y'all nose rings out. Like, please take them out. Christy says all coaches should receive NCAA rules before the tournament. I mean, all coaches, they have a rule book. They all have a rule book. They know the rules. Everybody knows that players are not supposed to wear nose rings. The rules is not the problem. It's the fact that the refs haven't enforced that rule all season. And so players and coaches are like, oh, well, okay, well, I guess we're good on this one. We can ignore this rule. They know the rules. Coaches should receive point of emphasis before each game, especially in the tournament. If there is a point of emphasis for a particular thing, the NCAA should send that, especially in the tournament, to the coaches, not the rule book, because they already know the rule book. They know, everybody knows that was against the rules, but no one cared. The refs never enforced it, so. Bree says Cardoso had hers out to, yeah. There's a Kyra said Raven had all of her 40 of her races out. I mean, yeah, players, yeah, y'all better take y'all stuff out. Y'all better take y'all stuff out. B girl 1214 says the rules aren't the problem. The selective enforcement is. That part right there. Yes. That's the whole issue. That is the whole issue. You are absolutely 1000% right, B girl. That's the problem. That is the problem. You selectively enforce stuff. If it's a rule for everybody. All right? If you're not going to enforce the rule, then don't enforce it on her today. You know, I'm just saying I thought it was pretty messed up. I thought it was pretty messed up. But that being said, you don't want to put stuff in refs' hands, especially this late in the game. So I personally, I would have asked, be like, hey, even if the refs don't say nothing, take it out. Take your nose ring out. Take it out. Any rule, you especially in the tournament, coaches, y'all gotta tell these players, hey, we don't know if they're gonna enforce it or not, but y'all need to take it out. Take out the nose ring. Take it out. Even though you talked to the ref, one of the refs before the game, and they said it was okay, just as long as you like cover it up. That don't matter. Take it out. Take out the nose ring, because we cannot let this cost us the game. So absolutely yes, the refs have selective enforcement, and they should have just told them early that this was a point of emphasis. But also, maybe this game was so important that you should have just said, you know what, Hannah, even though the ref said it was okay, That one ref that you talked to said it was okay before the game. Take out the nose ring because we don't need no problems. This is a Sweet 16 game. Win or go home. We need to win. So I need y'all to run everything by the book. All right? Run everything by the book because we don't know if they're going to enforce this rule or not. So I think, both things are true. Both things are true in my opinion. Yeah. I would have probably told him, hey, take that thing out. Take that thing out. Because yeah, I mean it was against the rules. It was against the rules. So both things are true. The refs should have said something earlier if that indeed was a point of emphasis. And also, this game was such a critical game that at that point, y'all got to do everything by the book. Everything. And that includes taking out all your nose piercings, all that. Take it out. Because you don't know when they're going to enforce something. So Theo said, like I said earlier, very bad look for the NCAA. We should be talking about the incredible game, not this controversy. Absolutely agree. Absolutely. Michael says, you're right, B-Girl and Quita. This is going straight to the head of officials who is ultimately responsible. He or she is in deep trouble with the powers that be. Should be. Vibe says, feels like a great day to be a South Carolinian. Or I don't know, is it South Carolinian? Is that it? I don't know. I'm not from South Carolina, so I don't know. But yeah, y'all did get the dub. South Carolina did get the dub against Notre Dame, Indiana. They won by 4 points, 79-75. We did talk about that game in particular earlier today and how Camila Cardoso was unstoppable and how South Carolina had those threes to begin the game. Got cooled down a little bit, had a 22-point lead, and Indiana came back. They came roaring back. And it became a ball game. It became an absolute ball game that was fun to watch, and it was a nail biter. Absolute nail biter. JB says, it's really disappointing how the officials made themselves a part of the storyline. It takes away from how great the game was, all over a stupid rule that's been ignored all year. Yeah. All right, guys. That was the recap of Notre Dame versus Oregon State and Indiana versus South Carolina. Oregon State and South Carolina will meet in the Elite Eight on Sunday. So, guys, that will be a fun game to watch. Oregon State has to come with the threes. They have to come with the threes. And we're going to see what happens. We are going to see what happens in that game. Guys, I am going to end the stream, and we are going if y'all have ESPN, I would recommend y'all watching Stanford versus NC State right now. Stanford is winning 26-20 for NC State. We are in the second quarter with 4 minutes left to go. Guys, I'm going to go watch that game. I'm actually probably going to restart it to the first quarter so I can actually watch the whole game through. That's the benefit of recording. You can, like, mid-game, you can rewind to the beginning and watch it all the way through. So guys, I will see you all later. I will not be back for a stream tonight. I will not. I won't be back tonight. I have to. The games are pretty late. I mean, the game right now is fine, but the Texas Gonzaga game is that's at 9 p.m. my time, and I'm gonna watch it, but I think I'm gonna be exhausted after that game, so I'm probably just gonna go straight to sleep. So I will not be live after that Texas Gonzaga game. But tomorrow, you all can look forward to a recap of day 5 of the NCAA tournament. Guys, I have done recaps of every single day so far. So round 1, I did recaps of every the next day, and I talked about every single game. So y'all can expect that tomorrow morning. Y'all will see a recap of all the games that happened today. So the games that already happened, the Stanford NC State game, as well as the Texas Gonzaga game. So yeah, y'all can expect that tomorrow. So no stream tonight, but check that out tomorrow. Again, thank you all for your support. Thank you for the Patreon members who are financially supporting this channel. Shout out to y'all for just holding it down, y'all, and just like financially making sure that this channel keeps on running. Guys, I will see y'all tomorrow. We got some huge games tomorrow. So yeah, y'all better get y'all popcorn because we got some fantastic women's basketball to talk about. All right, so I appreciate y'all, and until next time, guys, have a good night. I'm gonna go walk my dogs and watch the beginning of this NC State Stanford game. Until next time, guys, bye.